Dead celebrities who are actually alive, what really happened to them? Prepare to have your world turned upside down. You thought they were gone, but what if your favorite celebrities aren't 6 feet under? Join us as we dive into the shocking secrets and tantalizing theories that suggest some of the biggest stars may still be alive, living hidden among us. Get ready to question everything you know and hold on tight for a wild ride through the world of the undead. Or are they? Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley, renowned as the king of rock and roll, is widely believed to have passed away on August 16, 1977, at 42 years old due to a heart attack that may have been connected to drug use. Yet a segment of his fan base persists in the belief that Elvis is not truly deceased, holding on to the possibility that he continues to live somewhere. One supposed indication they highlight is an error on his gravestone where his middle name is inscribed as Aaron rather than Aaron. This has led some to speculate that there might be more to the story. The National Enquirer once published images of Elvis's casket open for viewing, with some individuals asserting that the body within appeared to be a wax figure and not Elvis himself. Conspiracy theorists also draw attention to an incident where a person bearing a resemblance to Elvis purchased a one-way ticket to Argentina using the moniker John Burroughs, a name supposedly linked to Elvis. This has led to conjecture that it could have been Elvis making an audacious getaway. One of the more fascinating pieces of alleged evidence is a video showing an individual wearing an Elvis-themed shirt at Graceland, seemingly making what some interpret as a sign indicating he is alive. However, a closer look reveals that the man was merely scratching his head, and the connection to Elvis based on his attire seems tenuous at best.
And it's exactly what you said the other day. Oh, right. Oh.
Despite these claims lacking substantial proof, the notion that Elvis might still be alive continues to intrigue his admirers. A fan expressed this sentiment by saying, "It's difficult to accept that someone with such immense talent and charm could simply be no longer with us. Regardless of whether Elvis is actually still alive or not, his enduring impact will forever be cherished by those who remain devoted to his memory." Jim Morrison. Jim Morrison, known for his magnetic presence as the frontman of the legendary rock band The Doors, was reported to have died on July 3, 1971, at 27 years old in a bathtub in Paris, with the cause cited as heart failure.
Jim Morrison, the lead singer for The Doors, a rock music group, is dead. He was 27.
The absence of an official autopsy or police documentation, and the fact that only Morrison's girlfriend and a medical doctor were said to have viewed his body, has led to persistent rumors that he might still be living. In the 2 years leading up to his supposed passing, Morrison had been confronted with the prospect of imprisonment due to an indecent exposure incident during a performance, which led him to seek refuge in Paris. This situation could have provided him with a reason to fabricate his own death. A particularly extravagant theory suggests that Morrison has since been living as a poet named Richard in Schenectady, New York. This idea is based on a collection of YouTube videos that are claimed to show similarities between Richard and Morrison. A different theory suggests that Morrison is residing on an Oregon ranch known as the Jim Morrison Sanctuary under the alias William James Lawyer. Support for this theory comes from a video that supposedly transitions Lawyer's face into that of Morrison's. However, the credibility of this video is highly dubious. Do you think Jim Morrison faked his own death? Comment with yes if you believe he's still out there, or no if you think the rumors are just that. Tupac Shakur. Tupac Shakur, renowned for his impactful and emotive rap lyrics and his strong stage presence, was reportedly a victim of a drive-by shooting on September 7, 1996, in Las Vegas. Yet the idea that he faked his own death to outsmart his adversaries, a concept reminiscent of Machiavelli's strategies, has been a popular conspiracy theory among some. A significant element of this conspiracy theory involves Suge Knight, the head of Tupac's record label, who was with him during the incident. Despite numerous gunshots being fired, Knight was unharmed, which has led to suspicions that he might have been complicit in the plan. It is also noted that Tupac, who typically wore a bulletproof vest following an earlier shooting incident, was not reported to have one on during this occasion, suggesting it might have been a deliberate move. Adding to the mystery, no witnesses have come forward to identify the white Cadillac associated with the shooting, even though it happened on the busy Las Vegas Strip. Suge Knight later stated that he never saw Tupac's body and arranged for someone to cremate him without viewing the body, after which Tupac supposedly vanished. Intriguingly, Tupac's final album before his alleged death, The Don Killuminati, The 7-Day Theory, was released under the moniker Machiavelli, which alludes to Machiavelli's philosophy on deceiving one's enemies by faking death. Throughout the years, there have been numerous alleged sightings of Tupac. For instance, some fans believe a photograph featuring Rihanna in Cuba shows Tupac in the background. However, this image is likely altered. In 2011, another video from the Occupy Wall Street movement was claimed to include Tupac among the crowd, but the quality of the video was too poor to be convincing. While these conspiracy theories are captivating, it is important to acknowledge that Tupac Shakur was indeed a victim of gun violence and was tragically taken from us at an early age. His musical contributions and enduring legacy continue to inspire countless artists and fans across generations. Olivia Newton-John's ex-boyfriend. In 2005, Patrick McDermott, the former partner of Olivia Newton-John, vanished during an evening angling excursion off the coast of Los Angeles. The United States Coast Guard deduced that he likely perished at sea. But since then, unverified assertions have emerged proposing that McDermott might have staged his own disappearance.
Yeah, it was very hard. He was lost at sea and nobody really knows what happened.
A decade later, in 2010, investigators commissioned by Dateline NBC purportedly located McDermott alive and residing in Mexico under his original name, Pat Kim. These investigators discovered a pattern of IP addresses accessing a website that chronicled his supposed movements, which directed them to the Mexican Pacific shoreline close to Puerto Vallarta. Nevertheless, McDermott's former spouse, Yvette Nipar, refutes these allegations. She characterized the private investigator involved, Philip Klein, as a notorious serial liar who is merely seeking fame at the cost of a distressing event in our lives. Nipar mentioned that Klein consistently vowed to confirm McDermott was alive but failed to present any evidence. 6 years later, in 2016, more than 10 years post his vanishing, the Australian periodical Woman's Day reported that investigators had discovered McDermott in good health and living in Sayulita, Mexico, where he was said to be with a new partner. Like previous claims, these allegations remain unconfirmed. Olivia Newton-John has also addressed the ambiguity enveloping McDermott's disappearance. In an interview with 60 Minutes in 2016, she remarked, "It's natural to ponder such things, but you must acknowledge and release them. This is essential when confronting challenging times, as there will always be uncertainties." Kenny Rogers. Kenny Rogers, an iconic figure in the realm of country music, may have departed us on March 20th, 2020, but his presence is still keenly felt by many. Fans often jest that he is definitely still with us, a testament to his lasting impact and the sentimental value of his music. This idea is embraced by those who cherish the memories of his classic tunes and captivating performances. Adding a touch of whimsy to this sentiment, a groundskeeper at Graceland, Elvis Presley's renowned residence, has an uncanny physical resemblance to Kenny Rogers. This resemblance has prompted amusing conjecture among visitors, who engage in playful discussions about Rogers' spirit, possibly lingering around, overseeing his admirers and the broader music community. Kenny Rogers is particularly celebrated for the enduring wisdom contained in his well-known adage, "You've got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run." This phrase not only encapsulates his philosophy towards life and music, but also serves as a guiding principle for overcoming life's obstacles. As fans look back on his contributions, they frequently draw solace from his insights, feeling as though he continues to offer them direction. Princess Diana. The enduring fascination with the theory that Princess Diana faked her own death to evade the persistent paparazzi has led some to believe she now resides peacefully in Argentina, managing a prosperous dog-grooming business under the pseudonym D. This speculation is supported by circumstantial observations, including an account of a woman with a striking resemblance to Diana driving a fashionable Jeep that displayed an "I Heart Corgis" bumper sticker. The well-groomed canines in Argentina have also been cited by some enthusiasts as potentially linked to the princess's well-known affection for her corgis. Critics, on the other hand, find it hard to envision such a drastic change in lifestyle for someone who was once renowned for her royal elegance. One detractor remarked, "Dog grooming is an honourable vocation, but could it truly be fulfilling for someone accustomed to that much glitter?" The stark disparity between Diana's past life and her purported current existence provokes skepticism, prompting many to speculate whether a humble life surrounded by dogs could genuinely satisfy her aspirations. How convincing do you find the claims of a Diana lookalike spotted in Argentina? Give us a rating from 0 to 5, where 0 is not buying it, and 5 is, it's definitely her. Bruce Seldon. Bruce Seldon, once the WBA heavyweight champion and nicknamed the Atlantic City Express, is alive and well, despite being somewhat eclipsed by the somber happenings on the night of September 7th, 1996. On that night, Seldon fought Mike Tyson for the WBA title at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, where Tyson emerged victorious via a first-round knockout in just 1 minute and 49 seconds. The brevity of Seldon's fight against Tyson has led to ongoing debate, with some questioning whether he intentionally lost the match. Seldon has consistently denied these allegations, asserting, "I didn't train 12 weeks to come in here and take a dive." After his defeat to Tyson, Seldon stepped away from boxing but made a return to the ring in 2004 at 37 years old. While the tragic shooting of Tupac Shakur later that same night has been widely reported, Seldon's name is occasionally brought up in connection to those events. Unlike Tupac, who unfortunately succumbed to his injuries 6 days post-shooting, Bruce Seldon continues to live his life away from the public eye. Since retiring from boxing, he has maintained a low profile, secure in the knowledge that he played a part in one of boxing's most unforgettable evenings, regardless of its outcome. Marilyn Monroe. A widespread conspiracy theory challenges the official account of Marilyn Monroe's death, which was attributed to a barbiturate overdose in 1962. This alternative narrative posits that Monroe was covertly relocated by the CIA to an idyllic tropical island, a secluded haven for those who had become privy to confidential governmental information. The proponents of this theory often point to a vague photograph from the 1980s, purportedly depicting a Monroe-like figure on a beach, adorned with sunglasses and a broad-brimmed hat, as supporting evidence. The mysterious vanishing of her vintage hair curlers is also highlighted as an enigmatic detail. Critics, however, contend that it would be implausible for the CIA to keep such an island secret and maintain Monroe's concealment without incident. They also ponder whether she would have been willing to endure a life of solitude on the island for many years, without eventually becoming restless and potentially publishing a revealing autobiography. Dr. Ralph Greenson, Monroe's psychiatrist, described her as a sensitive, intelligent woman, but she was also an actress and she had a flair for melodrama. Ultimately, despite its captivating nature, the theory suggesting that Monroe fabricated her own death and retreated to a clandestine CIA island is not supported by concrete evidence. In Monroe's own words, "I'm selfish, impatient, and a little insecure. I make mistakes, I am out of control, and at times hard to handle. But if you can't handle me at my worst, then you sure as hell don't deserve me at my best." John Lennon. The whimsical and captivating theory that John Lennon staged his own death to evade the burdens of celebrity and lead a serene existence as a librarian in Nova Scotia has its enthusiasts. Advocates for this idea draw attention to a photograph in a local newspaper that shows a man bearing an uncanny resemblance to Lennon, supposedly organizing books on horticulture. This image has ignited conjecture that the famed musician opted for a tranquil life beyond the public eye. A proponent of this theory humorously questioned, "Have you ever actually met anyone who's read in his own right from beginning to end?" This rhetorical inquiry implies that Lennon's literary endeavors might have been somewhat overlooked, suggesting that he could inconspicuously assimilate into a small community without drawing attention. Nonetheless, skeptics contend that librarians are often poor at preserving confidentiality, frequently engaging in discrete discussions about classification systems like the Dewey Decimal System. The idea that an iconic figure such as Lennon could remain undetected in such an open setting seems implausible when considering the prevalence of gossip in close-knit social circles. Reflecting on Lennon's enduring influence, one commentator remarked, "The spirit of John Lennon is not gone," highlighting the ongoing significance of his music and messages, irrespective of his physical presence or absence. Andy Warhol. The fascinating and whimsical theory that Andy Warhol did not actually pass away but instead transferred his consciousness into a Roomba vacuum cleaner is both imaginative and intriguing. Envision Warhol as a sentient cleaning device, smoothly navigating the floors while pondering the existential significance of dust accumulation. This theory suggests that he now spends his time in introspection, possibly considering the artistic possibilities of domestic detritus. The evidence for this theory is quite engaging. Roombas display an oddly artistic and random pattern in their cleaning paths, which some see as reflective of Warhol's own innovative and avant-garde approach to art. Additionally, it is observed that no one has ever seen Warhol and a Roomba in the same room at the same time. Is this merely a coincidence? One might jestingly respond with a typical conspiracy theory retort, "I think not." However, even for an artist as non-traditional as Warhol, this idea seems to stretch the imagination. Detractors contend that the concept is too outlandish, even considering Warhol's penchant for the unconventional. After all, Warhol once remarked, "The idea is not to live forever, it is to create something that will." Perhaps he valued the enduring nature of his art over the absurdity of existing as a vacuum cleaner. From Elvis to Marilyn and beyond, the intrigue surrounding the possibility of our favorite stars still being among us is interesting. Which celebrity do you think might still be alive, living a secret life away from the spotlight? Share your thoughts in the comments below and let's keep the conversation going. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Iconic Inside, and hit that notification bell to stay tuned for more fascinating stories. Let's explore the legends together. Top 10 male actors with iconic voices.
Bond. James Bond.
Prepare to be mesmerized by the magic of Hollywood's most enchanting voices. Top 10 male actors with iconic voices is not just a list, it's a tribute to the vocal legends who've shaped our cinematic dreams.
When you leave this building, you will be endowed with all my powers.
From chilling baritones to soothing whispers, these voices have the power to shock, move, and thrill. Get ready to discover which actors have the most spellbinding voices in the industry. This is a journey you won't want to miss. 10. Al Pacino. Al Pacino's vocal style is as renowned as his acting, recognized for its potent and frequently boisterous nature that has changed noticeably during his esteemed career.
No mistakes in the tango, Donna. Not like life.
At the beginning of his career in movies like The Godfather, his voice was more understated, but it has grown louder and more likely to raise in volume.
This one time I'll let you ask me about my affairs.
A change some link to his roles in films such as Scarface and Scent of a Woman. Pacino once humorously remarked, "I don't know how to act, but I can yell," which encapsulates the core of his more recent approach to acting. His voice acting is flexible, capable of delivering both stirring speeches and intimidating soliloquies. In Any Given Sunday, he is well known for his line,
"On this team, we fight for that itch,"
where he uses a compelling hushed tone to captivate the audience before bursting into a fervent outcry. This capacity to transition smoothly from a soft murmur to a full-throated shout adds a distinctive layer to his acting. His softer scenes can be as influential as his explosive tirades. Pacino's vocal performance is characterized by a striking intensity, ensuring that every utterance carries significant emotional heft. Whether he is articulating a bone-chilling menace or a rousing appeal to arms, his voice demands notice. 9. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger's vocal signature is as legendary as his cinematic exploits, defined by his unmistakable Austrian inflection that has turned into a hallmark of his identity.
The gentlemen are free to go, but Miss LaRoche,
His resonant, profound voice is an ideal match for his parts as a dynamic hero, enabling him to articulate indelible phrases with a power that holds viewers spellbound.
Welcome to Seldon.
Schwarzenegger once commented, "When I did Terminator," Jim Cameron said, "what made Terminator work and why it became successful is because Schwarzenegger talks like a machine." This distinctive vocal trait not only amplifies his acting, but also lends a lasting effect to even the most ordinary exchanges. His accent frequently introduces an unforeseen comedic twist to intense scenarios, converting potentially plain statements into amusing instances. A prime example is in Kindergarten Cop, where his declaration of "it's not a tumor" has turned into a treasured catchphrase, demonstrating how his accent can bring humor into serious settings.
It's not a tumor. It's not a tumor at all.
Schwarzenegger himself is aware of this, saying, "I think that it is a lot of times the way I say it that makes his lines stand out." Furthermore, his voice is intrinsically linked to the emblematic figures he embodies. Phrases like "I'll be back" and "Hasta la vista, baby" have gone beyond their initial context to become societal benchmarks, frequently cited and alluded to across different media platforms.
Hasta la vista, baby.
As he contemplates his career, Schwarzenegger notes, "You never know when you look at a script that this line will be repeated very often." In the end, his extraordinary voice not only shapes his characters, but also imprints a permanent legacy on the annals of film. Can you imagine Arnold Schwarzenegger without his iconic accent? Share your thoughts and comment yes if you think it's essential to his image, or no if you think he'd still be iconic without it. Let's discuss. 8. Jeremy Irons. Jeremy Irons is known for having one of the most distinctive voices in modern film, epitomizing the archetypal English gentleman. His voice, marked by a polished pitch, mirrors his roots as a Shakespearean actor with classical training.
That sneaky, dirty little son of a bitch! I'll kill him! I swear on my mother's soul!
Irons has stated, "I think the voice is the most important thing an actor has," underscoring the importance he attributes to vocal performance. His vocal attributes let him move seamlessly from calming to threatening, a range that has made him a popular choice for both virtuous and nefarious roles. In The Lion King, where he provided the voice for the deceitful Scar, his voice radiated a bone-chilling threat, drawing in viewers with its profoundness and force.
"Perhaps you shouldn't turn your back on me."
On the other hand, his depiction of roles in more complex stories, such as in The French Lieutenant's Woman, displays a softer, more nuanced side of his vocal talent.
You're trespassing! Did you hear what I said?
Get out!
His voice by itself conjures images of nobility and sophistication, making him an ideal candidate for parts that demand a sense of elegance and solemnity. Irons' skill in expressing intricate emotions vocally enhances the realism of his characters, letting him take on roles that vary from the malevolent to the deeply honorable. As he once shared, "I enjoy the challenge of playing characters who are not just one thing." This versatility in his vocal expression not only deepens his performances,
"You've been doing that every day for almost 40 years, Sam,"
but also solidifies his reputation as a virtuoso in his field, rendering Jeremy Irons' voice a lasting emblem of elegance and intricacy in the realm of acting. 7. Alan Rickman. Alan Rickman's voice was a distinctive element of his celebrated career, marked by a profound, echoing British baritone that enthralled audiences globally.
"Indeed. Your evidence?"
His singular vocal attribute permitted him to shine in an array of roles spanning from the endearingly nefarious Hans Gruber in Die Hard
MBA, Harvard, 1970,
to the cherished Severus Snape in the Harry Potter series.
Who fails to come forward.
Rickman was capable of embodying both antagonists and humorous figures, showcasing an extraordinary adaptability that is rare among actors. A virtuoso in employing dry humor and ironic conveyance, Rickman's voice could transform even the most ordinary phrases into something exceptional. As he humorously stated, "I do take my work seriously, and the way to do that is not to take yourself too seriously." This outlook infused his performances, enabling his characters to convey sincerity and profundity. His voice contributed an impression of command and acumen, rendering his enactments unforgettable and influential. Rickman's knack for imbuing his dialogue with engaging allure is perhaps most evident in his comedic parts, where his delivery frequently converted straightforward conversation into a wellspring of wit. His portrayal of Alexander Dane in Galaxy Quest exemplified this skill as he lamented, "I was a serious actor," a line that captured his self-conscious humor.
By Grabthar's hammer.
In sum, Alan Rickman's voice persists as a treasured inheritance, a smooth, bewitching tone that persists in the memories of devotees. As recognized by Time magazine, Rickman's voice is the kind you'll be able to conjure in your mind 20, 30 or 40 years from now. Love this video? Show some love with a like and a subscribe. Hate it? A like would still be awesome, and your feedback in the comments will help me improve. 6. Vincent Price. Vincent Price's vocal tone is frequently characterized as somber and unnerving, ideally fitting for the genres of horror and suspense. His one-of-a-kind vocal expression had the power to turn any storyline into a creepy encounter, mesmerizing viewers with its peculiar tone and reverberation.
I'm going to give the people what they want. Sensation, horror, shock.
Price himself once admitted, "I have a great love for the macabre," a sentiment mirrored in the disturbing nature of his voice that appeared to resonate with the very core of terror. A prime illustration of his vocal skill is his legendary input to Michael Jackson's Thriller. Price's narrative part imparted a disquieting dimension to the track, cementing its standing as a hallmark in both the music and horror domains. His proficiency in inciting a feeling of apprehension was unrivaled, causing listeners to feel as if they were immersed in a bone-chilling story.
The foulest stench is in the air, the funk of 40,000 years.
Moreover, Price's rendition of Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven is renowned, demonstrating his mesmerizing capability to captivate audiences.
Well, upon my soul.
His voice had a rhythmic tempo that not only communicated the poem's somber motifs but also rendered it an unforgettable auditory experience. The Raven became a proof of how his vocal aptitude could elevate written works, transforming a plain recitation into a dramatic enactment. 5. Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood's raspy, seasoned voice has evolved into a signature aspect of his identity throughout the years. His vocal tone conveys a resilient, straightforward character that aligns seamlessly with the robust figures he frequently embodies on screen.
We're gonna have to make some dummy heads, make them out of plaster, or cardboard, or whatever.
As Eastwood has matured, his voice has grown increasingly hoarse, enhancing his rugged image. In a conversation, Eastwood once mentioned, "I guess my voice has gotten a little rougher over the years. It's just part of who I am at this point." Eastwood's vocal delivery is typically succinct and direct, imparting an impression of dominance and control. Regardless of whether he's depicting a law enforcement officer, a gunslinger, or a military veteran, his voice infuses a layer of credibility to his characters.
Alive or dead, it's your choice.
Film critic Roger Ebert observed, "Eastwood's voice is like a gravel road, rough, but it gets you there." This concise delivery can bring a room to silence, as Eastwood's profound, echoing voice draws focus. In a moment from the movie Dirty Harry, Eastwood's role, Harry Callahan articulates a renowned soliloquy in his characteristic manner.
How does murder fit in? You know, when police start becoming their own executioners.
With his hoarse voice and pointed articulation, he utters, "I know what you're thinking. Did he fire 6 shots or only 5? Well, to tell you the truth, in all this excitement, I kind of lost track myself." This instance highlights Eastwood's capacity to utilize his voice to craft an indelible character and articulate a notable line. 4. Sean Connery. Sean Connery's vocal signature is undoubtedly one of the most recognizable and iconic in film history. The smooth, alluring Scottish accent that has become a hallmark of his iconic portrayal of James Bond imparts an air of elegance and cosmopolitanism to all his characters.
I mean, besides chemin de fer.
Golf?
"My voice is my trademark," Connery once remarked, and it's clear why. His profound, echoing tone is both enticing and authoritative, captivating audiences with every utterance. "The name's Bond, James Bond," he pronounced in Dr. No, and the world became enamored with his delivery of that line.
Bond.
James Bond.
Even when speaking in different languages, Connery's unique accent remains prominent. In The Hunt for Red October, he embodied a Russian submarine captain, yet his Scottish brogue was unmistakable. "I am not a Scotsman," he declared in the film. "I am a Russian."
New Ruski.
It's a testament to the strength of his voice that it surpasses language and nationality. Connery's voice has become so iconic that it's challenging to envision anyone else embodying Bond. "He brought an intriguing element to the role," said director Terence Young. "He had a certain allure and sophistication, yet also a certain ruggedness. That ruggedness is apparent in the manner Connery articulates his lines, with a coarse edge that contrasts the character's polished facade. Ultimately, it's Connery's voice that cements him as one of the finest actors of his era. It's a voice that draws attention, enchants the listener, and imprints a lasting impression on the mind. "He was the best Bond ever," said Roger Moore, "because he brought an element of peril to the role, and that peril is perpetually present in Connery's voice, a reminder of the influence of this legendary actor." 3. Christopher Walken. Christopher Walken's vocal signature is immediately identifiable, distinguished by a somewhat erratic mode of expression that differentiates him from other performers.
It was first purchased by your great-grandfather during the First World War.
His singular cadence and tempo render his dialogue unforgettable, as he frequently introduces unexpected pauses or accents words in a non-traditional manner. As Walken himself once articulated, "I have a very distinct voice. It's a little bit like a Geiger counter. It clicks along, and then it gets to the good part and goes, bah!" This unique style is further accentuated by Walken's Queens, New York inflection, which imparts a hint of coarseness and credibility to his portrayals.
Eternity, here, in that sagging skin suit.
Walken's voice can embody both humor and unease, often within the same sequence. He is capable of delivering a comedic one-liner with impeccable timing, yet can also provoke a shiver with a solitary line. As he once remarked, "I have a face that lends itself to sardonic and ironic roles." His articulation invests even straightforward lines with an air of enigma and profundity. As he once noted, "I like to say things in a way that makes people think."
Well, you know, it's live. It's like a football game. You get ready and then you don't know it.
Walken's iconic vocal presence has established him as an adored personality in mainstream culture, with enthusiasts frequently mimicking his characteristic delivery. As he once stated, "I'm very flattered when people imitate me. It's a kind of tribute." Whether he's embodying a mobster, a dance educator, or an eccentric character, Walken's voice invariably takes center stage, etching an enduring impression on every scene he features in. 2. James Earl Jones. James Earl Jones is known for having one of the most memorable voices in film history, marked by a profound, resonant baritone that draws the listener in. His vocal delivery is not only potent and commanding, but also adaptable for roles of both the heroic and the nefarious.
"Bobby and I didn't see you at the presentation of Simba."
As he once insightfully remarked, "If you take a villain like Thulsa Doom or Darth Vader and have fun with it, that destroys the credibility of the character." This comment underscores his appreciation for the solemnity his voice lends to characters, enhancing the impact and gravitas of any performance he is part of. In an impressive display of resilience, Jones overcame a notable childhood speech impediment, a hurdle that almost kept him from speaking for an extended period. He has shared, "One of the hardest things in life is having words in your heart that you can't utter." This personal challenge influenced his path, as he found solace in reading poetry, a pursuit that allowed him to articulate his thoughts without stuttering, and this eventually led to his distinguished career in acting. His voice extends beyond mere sound. It has become a cultural symbol that resonates with audiences of all ages. Whether he is the voice behind Darth Vader in the Star Wars saga or Mufasa in The Lion King,
"Don't know the power of the dark side."
Jones's vocal identity is widely recognized. He has humorously stated, "My voice is for hire," highlighting the adaptability and high demand for his one-of-a-kind vocal abilities. With a career that has spanned more than 6 decades, James Earl Jones has turned his early struggles into an exceptional asset, emerging as a cherished icon whose voice continues to motivate and enthrall audiences across the globe. 1. Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman is celebrated for his distinctive voice, which has become closely associated with narration, documentaries, and voiceovers. His voice, characterized by its depth, richness, and resonance, is ideally suited to impart a feeling of tranquility, insight, and command.
Sloth, wrath, pride, lust, and envy.
Freeman's vocal tone carries a comforting, paternal essence that renders him approachable and reliable, enabling him to lead audiences through intricate subjects effortlessly. As he once observed, "You are the sum total of everything you've ever seen, heard, eaten, smelled, been told, forgot. It's all there. Everything influences each of us." Freeman's vocal expression is simultaneously soothing and solemn, enabling him to address a diverse array of subjects with equal proficiency. Whether he is detailing the thrilling existence of penguins in March of the Penguins, or delving into the enigmas of the cosmos in The Story of God with Morgan Freeman, his voice enchants audiences and simplifies even the most intricate information. As he once asserted, literacy could be the ladder out of poverty, highlighting his conviction in the value of education and comprehension. Freeman's legendary voice has become so intrinsic to mainstream culture that he has even contributed his voice to the character of God in the movies Bruce Almighty and Evan Almighty. His voice possesses the capacity to transport audiences to different realms and uplift them with stories of human triumph. As he once articulated, "If you want to see a miracle, be a miracle," summarizing the invigorating impact of his language and the sagacity that saturates his every statement. We've journeyed through the vocal charisma of cinema's top male actors, each lending their unique tonal signatures to unforgettable characters. But which voice captivates you the most? Share your picks in the comments. It's time to celebrate the art of the voice. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell for more iconic content from Iconic Inside. Let's keep the conversation going.